All right, guys, we are back into the crossover town of Ninja Turtles. We've got Usagi Jimbo, the X-Files, Savage Dragon, and a lot more, including something that Christian and I are going to have a bone to pick with somebody. And you're not going to believe what happened in the mid-90s if you stay tuned here to our Shellonomics podcast. As always, we're joined by our good friend Christian, a.k.a. TMNT Talk. And we're going to have to talk to you about a couple things. But before we get into that, my dude, how excited were you just as a Turtles fan seeing the abundance of Usagi Jimbo crossovers?
With Usagi, I'm always there. It just fits totally fine into the world of the TMNT and vice versa. When I was a kid, I always thought Usagi was actually just a TMNT character. I remember him from the classic cartoon, and it's like, oh, and then I saw like the comics, and it's like, oh, they did comics about himself. So I thought it were like spin-off comics or anything. Yeah, it took me a while to realize that Usagi is actually his own character, his own comic book. And yeah, it's always a blast. I'm always there for Usagi crossovers. It just works,
Yeah, it certainly does, especially when we're starting off with our three-headed monster with shades of green. I love this one. It brings back it's just always nice doing these with you just because I get the good old feels, and a lot of this has the old, vintage Turtles. We've got Red Mask, all the good stuff, but feel free to take us into this three-parter right here.
Yeah, so just for a little context here, this is from Usagi Jimbo 1 through 3, which was a new volume because in 1993, Usagi was shortly even part of Mirage Studios, and they published the Usagi Jimbo comics. And the first 3 issues, of course, then had to be a TMNT crossover. So that's how we got this Shades of Green storyline, which starts off in Usagi's world, where Usagi and Jen, his rhino friend, and they run from some Neko ninja, these cat ninjas. And after their escape, another character named Kakera, who is a rat, walks up to them. And he asks the duo for their help because the Neko ninja are actually after him because he has magic powers. And he needs the help of other samurai, but they unfortunately get killed on the way to him. So Kakera thinks of some other helpers, and he get us 4 little turtles, so normal, regular turtles, and through them uses his magic to summon the Ninja Turtles. And yeah, these are the Mirage Studio Ninja Turtles, the red bandana turtles. And yeah, the turtles realize, okay, where are we? What's going on? But before the fight starts, Leonardo recognizes Usagi from earlier adventures because he had 1 or 2 run-ins with him earlier in short stories. Just then, some Neko ninja spies are seen and the team runs after them. Leo is able to follow one of them to their hideout and goes back to tell the others. So, as the team gets ready for the next fight, the turtles they're just fascinated by this place because where anthropomorphic animals are the norm and they just totally fit in. They're really, they're really happy at this world. But at night, more ninjas appear and they attack the village. A big fight starts, but Leo gets hurt really bad and Kakera gets kidnapped. So, Turtles, Usagi, and Jen are on the way to the Neko ninja hideout and they sneak in and soon are surrounded by ninjas. Another big fight starts, but Kakera is not to be found because it turns out that the ninja took Kakera away in a cart and Usagi follows it. But there's a little B plot there where the Neko ninja leaders called Ganchi and Chizu fight over leadership and they have a duel. Chizu wins and hands Kakera over to Usagi as she no longer is interested in him since that was mostly Ganchi's plan. So with Kakera safe, he transports the turtles back to the world and Usagi and Jen also leave and each go their separate ways. And that's the end of that three-parter in color, by the way. Didn't mention it. It was Mirage Studios, but it was in color. So wonderful.
Yeah, that was a bit shocking to see the color there, but I had a good time with it. It's always good seeing Usagi, and I never knew there were so many comics. So thank you again for pointing me in the direction of these, because I would have only known them from the 87 and the 2003 show, but we've got a lot more to come, including, now I know he's not PandaCon, but the dude in this comic that you're about to break down gave me PandaCon vibes for the first glance.
So we're talking about the second Usagi crossover that we want to talk about.
Where and when, right?
Yeah, where, when. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Yep.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Usagi Jimbo, where, when was it a 5-parter? Yes, a 5-parter by IDW Comics, which, gotta say, is in the canon of Usagi's world, but not really in the canon of the Ninja Turtles. It's like inspired by the IDW comics, but it does not really fit into the continuity. The first crossover that we already talked about, remember that was part of the canon because it was also included in the collections. But this one, it's a side story, gotta say. It's its own thing. So, without further ado, okay. In this story, in Usagi's world, Usagi is by the time part of Lord Noriyuki's forces in his battle against Lord Hikichi. And some villagers approach Usagi and ask for help with a kappa nearby. And Usagi and friends find the evil kappa and kill it. In New York, in like the Turtles world, the Ninja Turtles confront Dr. Where When in a warehouse. And that's the part that I meant. Like the Turtles are like, oh, Dr. Where When, you know the guy, or the bad guy, one of our arch nemesis. And I was like, never heard of the guy before. So, Where When has these robots, and the Turtles fight off his robots, but Dr. Where When escapes with a time machine. The Turtles follow him, and in the next moment, they see themselves confronted with Usagi's friends who think that they are also Kappa, like little callback to third movie. So, a fight starts, but Usagi arrives and tells them that the Turtles are friends. It turns out that Where When arrived 2.5 decades before the Turtles and has built himself an army in this world. The Turtles are brought to Lord Noriyuki and they ask for help in finding Where When, but Noriyuki says that they are already on a mission and can't spare any men. Where When sends the Moguro ninja, these are moles, who are working for him after Noriyuki's men and the Turtles, and they attack from below, they burrow up from below. The team fights off the Moguro ninja, but Kitsune, Jen's wife, gets killed by them. But they capture one of the Moguro ninja and interrogate him. He tells them where the castle of Where When is. Noriyuki realizes that they should work together to stop Where When. And Dr. Where When gets his samuroids ready for battle. So samurai, android, robots. Usagi, Turtles, and friends find Where When's castle, but before they can approach it, giant robotic spiders appear in the forest, and after defeating them, a robotic dragon appears, and the team destroy it after a hard fight. At the camp, Jen and company suddenly see that robots come out of the forest to attack Noriyuki's army. So it's like an attack from two sides. The army fights the army of robots. Meanwhile, the Turtles, Usagi, and friends are able to enter Where When's castle. And inside, of course, more robots appear and the big fight starts. Usagi's cousin Yukichi stabs the energy transmitter in the castle and destroys it. Without energy, all the robots stop their attack, but Yukichi dies from the electric shock from the machine. Where When is defeated, but he teleports away with his time machine. But before he disappears, Leonardo chops off Where When's arm where the wrist device is on, and without it, Where When is trapped in the time stream. But the Turtles can use the device to get back to their own time and world, and so that's the end of that. Gotta say, pretty big story.
Yeah, I agree all the way. I sent you a message really quick. If you check your Discord, you see that one? It looks like a PandaCon in the middle. It's a skinnier version. So we're on the same page in that Where One.
Oh, yeah.
That's
okay,
what.
now I know what you mean. Yeah.
I was
Not
like, what?
Yuki. Yeah, he's a panda. Yeah.
Yeah, I got excited seeing it. That's why I was like, oh, cool. Maybe he's gonna pop up here. Okay, very cool. Dude, how great was the artwork here in issue 2? Leo blocks the sword with his hands. That's something we didn't even see in the cartoons.
Yeah, Stan Sakai, the artist behind Usagi Jimbo, I really like his style because it's kind of cartoony, but at the same time it's very dynamic, very action oriented, and I think he's great. I always enjoy his turtles too. And did was it NECA? Yeah, NECA. Did they already release the Usagi turtles? I know I've seen pictures of them.
Ooh, that's a good
Gotta say, I love
question.
them. I love them.
I know we both like that PandaCon one they did last year or 2 years ago. That one was
Oh
phenomenal.
yeah.
Really well done there. And it's hard to get that license too because he's very protective of his work. So very cool to see. And shocking that Raphael didn't want pizza at the end of this one. At the end when they were asking for food, I was like, wow, a turtle not liking pizza? So little shocker, which I like. It's a little different. But next we're going to go to the Flaming Carrot. It was nice seeing Jim Lawson's name there. So you know you're going to have phenomenal artwork, story, all that good stuff when you see those legendary turtle names. This one gave me vibes of the Tick, and I call it a splash of Archie because like the eyeballs and stuff give me the good Archie vibes from the turtles.
Yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Flaming Carrot, they had a 4-part crossover in 93, 94. That was also by Mirage Studios. And yeah, I don't know if you remember, was it in 98 or 99, something like this? There was a movie called Mystery Man with Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. These are the Mystery Men from this comic book.
Wow, I did not know that. Nice put together.
Yeah, I mean, Flaming Carrot was not in the movie, but like others, like Mr. Furious, that was Ben Stiller. He is the one from the movie. So yeah, that's where we get the connection here.
Wow.
So yeah, but it's like Flaming Carrot is it's really, as you say, it's really got this Tick feeling. Is superhero but totally goofy, and you cannot take it seriously. And I gotta say, it's the same with the storyline here. It's really, with this, I really had to think about like, okay, how do I summarize it? It's wild. Okay, I'm doing my best here with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Flaming Carrot. So, the story starts off with the turtles. They are working together with the military in Central America after a storm. In the USA, the mystery men hear about weird ongoings in Central America too, so they travel there too. The turtles and the military stumble over some weird ruins that seem to be not of Earth origin. And late at night at camp, the turtles have a run-in with a green flame man that, well, after a little action, gets destroyed. So then the mystery men arrive at the camp and a fight starts between the superhero team and the turtles, because you always have to have a fight in crossovers. But Flaming Carrot recognizes the turtles and the teams agree to work together to find out more about the Green Fireman. So later, thousands of these creatures appear and the whole team grab all the firearms they can to fight them off. So big action scene. Turtles and Mystery Men fight off all the flame creatures with weapons and water, and then they investigate the ruins again. They also run into another green flame creature which actually talks to them, and it turns out that he was a soldier that got eaten by a flame creature and became one with it. They also discover some flame eggs, and if more and more of these creatures appear, they could overrun the whole world. Inside the ruins, they also find a wolfman inside a tube, like a stasis tube, but the wolfman awakens and jumps at the heroes. And after a short fight, the wolfman runs off. The mystery men also get attacked by 3 ghosts who shoot ice blasts at them. The wolfman appears again, eats one of the green fire creatures, and suddenly is also able to talk. He explains that all these weird creatures come from the sun, as there are numerous worlds inside our sun, because of course there is. Some of them came to Earth, and the ruins are an outpost of these aliens. And the ghost creatures are the bad guys who want to bring their forces to Earth to take it over. And to stop that, they have to sink the ruins back into the Earth, which they do with the Wolfman inside. The world is safe again, thanks to the Ninja Turtles and the Mystery Man, and yeah, as I told you, wild stuff.
It's just like those Bebop and Rocksteady IDWs where it's just, I don't know how to do this. I'll do my best to explain it, but it's another one where you got to read it for yourself. Even the dialogue here, just, in Elf, they had the term cotton-headed ninny-muggin. So in the finals of this one, and I quote, "All the time, I thought he was just another Casper milquetoast desk jockey, not disc. Desk," which I'm pretty sure was intentional, just with how wacky this episode was. But he did his duty when the time came. So, in case you ever get mad at somebody or your kids foul up, just call him a Casper milquetoast desk jockey. That may be more harsh than some other words.
That.
Yeah, exactly. That was a good time. But here we go. Here's the one that is going to get us to. Christian's going to have to hold me back. But before we get into our little rant. It'll be a comedic one. Feel free to break down Creed. And we're not talking about Rocky's Creed.
Yeah, not that one. It's a different one. Creed was apparently an indie comic in the 90s, and the Turtles had a crossover with it. So in this story from 1996, gotta say, it starts off with in New York, there's a kid named Mark, and he finds a dream stone in an antique shop. And this dream stone is apparently very powerful. And the kid who has a talking frog on his shoulder gets attacked by a street gang. And then the Ninja Turtles appear and they fight them. During all this, the dream stone is dropped and Mark, the gang leader, Raph, and Leo vanish. Donatello and Mikey go back to Splinter, who tells them that the others are in the dream world now and that they should not worry. In this dream world, the team runs into a creature called Shrapnel and his army of demons. Raph, Leo, and Mark, who now can use bone claws in this world, very Wolverine-like, fight and kill the creatures. Then, with the Dreamstone, Mark sends Raph and Leo back to the real world, and Mark gets ready for his next adventure, but I never read the comic, so I don't know what this is all about, but it was cool. It was fun.
It was fun until somebody called Raphael was called Ralph. Now, for those who don't know, this came out in 1996. Turtle original cartoon was on its way out. Next Mutation was on its way in. Eastman and Laird were button heads because of the girl turtle, so maybe they just didn't care to catch that spot here, but how do you let that slide, Christian? How? This is before autocorrect with iPhones, which have really crucified Raphael. When anytime you're talking to some friends who are not hardcore turtle fans, it'll go Leo, Don, Mikey, and Ralph. There's a lot of Ralph, and it's just it's nails on a chalkboard to me. So how do you deal with it? Again, you're an easygoing guy, but I mean, did you do a face palm to yourself and not like crucify the person, but just like oh my gosh, how did this happen? First experience reading it, as honest as you can be. First thought.
Yeah, it's any time I read this. There are two things. There are two mix up with the turtles that I don't get. First one is of course Ralph. Ralph? Why Ralph? It's Raphael. There is no L in the middle there. It always, it sometimes pops up when you read something online and someone calls Raphael Ralph. It's like, this doesn't even make sense. The second one is when someone calls Michelangelo Mickey, like Mickey Mouse. Oh my God. No, this is just wrong. It's like, I mean, it's not like, I'm going all mad, I'm going Hulk mode here or anything, but it's like, oh, come on. No, this is wrong. It's Raffy, whatever, but not Ralph. Come on.
Yeah.
He's not a kid from The Simpsons. No,
yes.
Dude.
Yes, like you said.
Yeah, it's okay. I know there are bigger problems, but it's a pet peeve of mine too.
yes. Yeah, we won't spend the whole episode on this, but just another analogy is, let's just say you're into American sports, the NFL football. So when someone scores a touchdown and they say, wow, it's a home run, That's the equivalent of what a turtle fan hears Ralph and Mickey. Am I wrong?
I totally get it. That makes, yeah, you're totally making sense for me here.
Yeah. So it was just, and it was starting off kind of cool, that comic too. It was a nice, I like this 90s grunge, just a little bit grittier, a little darker. And then that happens and it's like, oh, you just fumbled the football and my whole mind is blown. So it's just like, and again, and the thing too is, they're giving you permission to use those characters. So I would be embarrassed by that. That's like if Christian, wants me to be on his show and I call him TMNT, and I don't call him the talk. I call him something totally. It's like, Mike, how? Like we trust you here with our characters. So maybe they were inspired. Maybe this. I mean, I think this was, again. You've read all the comics pretty much from head to toe. Was this your first Ralph sighting? If you can recall, to the best of your knowledge,
it's possible. It's possible.
Okay.
I cannot remember that they ever record like in the regular Mirage or Archie comics. I don't think they ever did this. This could really be a first. Oh, this could be something to investigate.
Yes.
When was the first Ralph?
Yeah,
was it this?
In 1996, like I say, maybe it just slipped by the Eastman and Laird when this happened, or they just didn't care as much because a lot of other stuff was going on with the TMNT. But anyways, coming up next is an X-Files crossover, and like Christian said earlier, we're here for Ninja Turtles, so we're just gonna break down the Ninja Turtle cameo part here.
Yeah, for some background, there was like a special, like an event by IDW Comics in 2014 called X-Files Conspiracy, where there's X-Files characters. They traveled to different characters, like they had these crossovers. They met like the Transformers and other characters. And there was a big story over all this because there was some kind of virus causing trouble. And yeah, one of these crossovers was with the Turtles. And back then, it was even considered canon to the TMNT universe, but as we did not get this in the IDW collection, it's not considered canon anymore. But it's a fun little side story that takes place during the Turtles' time in Northampton, after the City Force saga. And in this story, like it starts off with the lone gunmen. These are these three guys who are friends of Mulder from X-Files, who are investigating mysterious stuff by themselves. And they received a file with mysterious headlines from the future. And they investigate one about some mysterious amphibians living in the sewers of New York. So that's how they got on the trail of the Turtles. And yeah, they find out that these creatures must be in Northampton right now. So apparently in Northampton, there have also been reports of deaths in the town where the bodies were drained of the blood. So of course, the first thought is, vampires. Casey and April, they get some pizza from a pizza shop, and the Turtles keep an eye on them because of all the mysterious stuff going on there. Suddenly, there is a commotion inside the pizzeria, and the Turtles and the lone gunman go in to investigate. And yes, it's vampires, and they attack April and Casey. After fighting the vampires and actually distract them with pepper flakes that are spilled on the floor because vampires have to collect stuff like that out of instinct. Never heard of that before, but okay, maybe. Then the Turtles leave. So the lone gunman approach the Turtles and ask for their help because they need a sample of their blood to find a cure for a virus that's spreading across the East Coast. But the Turtles say no. Later, Leonardo himself alone approaches the lone gunman and gets convinced that they are telling the truth, and he gives them a sample of his blood, which probably will be later used for the cure. But yeah, but we're not getting too much into that story, because that was the turtle part of it, and that's enough for me.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, the fun takeaway here is Leonardo saying go with the no poop option, because we got to keep it kid friendly in the comics.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, coming up next is our good friend that we covered before in the other podcast here. Our buddy Savage Dragon returns. And guess what? We're back in my hometown, Chicago.
Yeah, Ninja Turtles and Savage Dragon, they had two-parter crossover stories, which started actually in Savage Dragon number 2, where it starts off with Savage Dragon, who is in New York because of reports of a stone gargoyle who is kidnapping old ladies. And the turtles come out and they attack Savage Dragon because they are also after the gargoyle and thought that it was him. And after a short skirmish, the turtles recognize Dragon's like, "Oops, oh, cool, you're the cop from Chicago." Suddenly, the real gargoyle appears and the turtles fight it. Then Dragon smashes it with just one punch, and from the shadows, a mysterious woman watches this scene. And this leads into the Savage Dragon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover by Mirage Studios, which was a single issue. As Dragon is now about to departure New York to go back to Chicago, the mysterious woman uses her magic to bring a giant stone monster to life. Once again, Turtles and Dragon fight the stone creature. And after this, the Turtles run into the mysterious woman who is called Virago. She brings two stone lion statues to life to fight the turtles, but Virago's powers are dwindling. But after Turtles and Dragon destroy the stone lions too, she uses her magic to bring the statue of Atlas to life. But Dragon once again smashes the statue, and Virago gets arrested since she's out of magic power. And that's the end of the first TMNT Savage Dragon crossover.
I just love here in Chicago back in town. It was nice when they talked about Chicago pizza. And, you know, if you had to choose, again, I know you don't like these difficult spots, but now that we're older, which do you prefer, red masks or colored masks? I like the red mask while I'm in the comics. It just gives that edgier vibe.
It's if it's the Mirage universe, it has to be Red Mask. If like Mirage Image universe, classic comic universe, black and white, it has to be Red Mask. It would not feel right if it was any other way. But if you like would put me in the spot and say, "Hey, you're creating a new TMNT universe. What are you doing?" I would go with the colored masks because it makes sense. Just to tell the turtles apart, you don't need the belt buckles with the letters on them, but the masks, that's enough. Like, give each turtle their favorite color, and like that's enough to tell them apart. So I would go with the colored mask if I had to decide on like a new version of Turtles or something.
Okay, which is why you liked how the IDW started then, right? Because they had to earn those masks, right? Okay, very good. So there's a little
that was really a great way once again by IDW to like pay homage to the originals, but then doing their own thing. That was once again perfect.
Exactly. Coming up next, again, we've got Dooney and Levine, and just when you hear those names, you just know you're going to be you're in for a treat. And I really like this one because now there's a Beast Boy in here, but it's not the DC Teen Titans Beast Boy. But what I really enjoyed was, we talked about it before, Christian. One of my favorite comic series is the Tales of the Ninja Turtles, the one that we covered, and that it had that kind of intro in this one you're about to read.
Yeah, so we're getting into the second TMNT Savage Dragon crossover, which once again starts off with a single issue by Mirage Studios. It's a little bit hard to keep up with them because they're jumping from Mirage to Image. Anyway, so this story starts off with they're in Chicago and there's a creature that has appeared that looks very much like Complete Carnage. So Raphael decides to check it out by himself. Back in New York, the other turtles meet up with Radical, who now works at the Natural History Museum. And she tells them that the Carnage in Chicago is actually a clone created from a ripped off limb from one of the first battles. Like, remember back in the Tales issue. And the clone was created by some scientists. And so she can't help the turtles since it's not the real deal. She always has to fight Complete Carnage, but that's not the real Complete Carnage. But she uses her powers to send the turtles to Chicago. Raphael finds a dragon first, and both get attacked by the clone Complete Carnage, a mindless and wild beast version of the original. As they fight the creature, the other turtles arrive and they fight it together, but Carnage sends a whole building toppling towards the 5 heroes. This leads us into the Savage Dragon number 22 by Image Comics, where the story is continued. The turtles and dragon flee the falling building, but Carnage emerges from the rubble stronger than ever. Turtles and dragon fight Complete Carnage, and after a while, dragon throws him into the nearby lake. Carnage drowns as something keeps him down, and when dragon tries to rescue him, Carnage is already dead. After this, Dragon meets with his girlfriend Rapture and her roommate Sarah. Sarah, remember? Later, she has a thing with Mikey in the Image comics.
Yes.
And the turtles leave for New York. Then Dragon gets attacked by a weird superhuman woman and thrown into a smokestack. But that's a Savage Dragon story, and I have no idea what this was all about. So that's where we end the story.
Yep. Exactly. Oh man. So did you have a favorite one that stuck out to you besides the Sour Ralph? I as much as I like the Usagi Jimbo, I'm just partial to the Savage Dragon comics we read today, just because the Chicago vibe, the darkness, the just Usagi's was intense as well. Again, it's just I'm just picking the one I liked best, and I really enjoy that Savage Dragon character too. He's pretty cool. He's like he's like our old 80s cartoon guys, like a buff Thundercat or a buff He-Man dude.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, I have not read much about Savage Dragon, mostly just the crossovers with the Turtles, or when he appeared in the Image Comics run from the Turtles. But I always enjoyed him. I always thought that he just, once again, fits in really well with the Turtles. He's a cool character. He's like, it's. I'm easy to please when it comes to stuff like that. When you have this super strong guy who like with punches out the bad guys and that's it. With one, he's just so cool and strong. Like I don't know, He-Man. He-Man just punches guys and that's enough for me, and I'm happy. So yeah, totally. I really like this style. It's really cool. So yeah, but the other one, if I gotta have a favorite, it would be the first crossover is Usagi here. You know, the 3-parter, Shades of Green, just the turtles in Usagi's world. It just feels so cool, and as I said, the art style. I always love Stan Sakai's art style. That's just a good one. I also like the second crossover, but from my taste, it went on a little bit long with 5 issues. I think with the story, it could have been like a little bit more compressed, but it was totally cool, totally fine. But if I have to decide, I would go with the first crossover. That was really cool.
Yeah, it was kind of shocking to see crossovers go 5-6 issues back then. And again, these were loaded pages. If I were to choose one photograph, though, it is just that image of Leo blocking the sword with his hands. Again, these are great comics where we encourage all of you fans here listening to us on Shellonomics here on YouTube and Spotify to check out. Like we say, we can't get enough Turtles. We've got a lot more crossovers to come in next week's episode. But I know you guys are out there. It's like, Mike, you don't really talk about Tales. But I got some great news for you that Christian posted in his Discord. More Tales comics are coming, and I guarantee Christian's going to be there for it very soon. So if anybody wants to hear more Turtles, Christian, where can they find some more amazing podcast goodies?
Yeah. Hey, especially if you're into the current comic run, and yes, I could not be happy that Tales are coming back. If you want to hear more talk about current TMNT comics, you might check out Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Talk, which is my podcast, which you can find like on I hope on pretty much every podcast app. Or just go to the website tmnttalk.com, where you can find all the newest episodes and also all the social media stuff. And yeah, that you can join like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the good stuff. So yeah, TMNT Talk. Might check it out.
Absolutely. And I guess we'll just leave with this. You know, sometimes there's a sign, no dogs allowed, no Ralph Ninja Turtles allowed as of June 18th, 2026. Maybe one day there'll be a little kid Ralph, but for now, let's keep it Raph.
Oh, I'm totally with you there.